Okay, hello recording. I forgot to start you. So here it is. Welcome back. We are Nagarjuna investigators. This is September 4th, 2024, and we already did our opening prayers. And you guys have something up your sleeve, right? Because I have been gone. And so I'm just like, where are we? What are we talking about? Who is this Arya Nagarjuna guy? Who can help me? Anybody?
Nagarjuna is nagging us. He always says it's not the way you think. And we always come up with an interesting explanation why it has to be the way we think.
Good.
So,
Exactly. So this particular text, at the beginning, he bows down to Lord Buddha. Why? I mean, there are many, many reasons, but in this text, he points out, one particular quality of Buddha that, right, one particular quality. Anybody remember? Something about what he taught, duh, right? But yeah, Joanna.
well, since he's bowing down to soft, gentle voice, it's the wisdom part. So he bows down to Lord Buddha bringing the wisdom to us.
Right. But so when we think of wisdom, we think of emptiness. And when we think of emptiness, we think of these teachings, about the pen, about, things look this way, but they aren't really. And so they don't have any nature of their own. And, what's it like to see that no nature? And it's a conundrum, right? But this text really isn't talking about emptiness directly, is it?
No, not directly, but he's pointing out that every part of our experience that we think how life and everything that we experience is working, that there's something fishy about it. So there is the emptiness part, but it's really hidden. It's just pointing, are
Right.
you sure? Think about this case. And then we come up with another explanation, and then he's just looking like with the microscope underneath, and he's always seeing something else than we had been expecting or thinking it's working.
Right. But not really things identities. This text isn't talking about things identities. He bowed down to Lord Buddha because Lord Buddha taught interdependence. Remember the first line? Because they taught how things exist in dependence upon other things. And then when we hear that, is that any big shocker? No, we know things depend on other things. Like we're so inconsistent as humans. We know everything depends on everything else, and we expect that things to work right. Like it's really absurd the things that we do to make other things happen. And we say we know everything depends on something else. But even as we're thinking, I know everything depends on something else, we're still thinking there's these two separate things that depend upon each other. And Arya Nagarjuna is saying, like, just stop and think that through. Is it possible for there to exist two separate things that already exist that depend upon each other to exist? And we go, yeah, of course, right? It's all over, it's everywhere, that existence. And he goes, yeah, but think about it. Because it can't work like that. That can't be what Lord Buddha meant by things depend upon other things. because you can't ever find the place where these two already existing things come together to affect each other. You can't physically find a spot. You can't find a moment it actually happens. And if they were two existing things that come together to make something happen, you should be able to find the place where they touch and the moment that it happened. And we go, yeah, but we do. I stick the key in the car, I turn it, the car starts, I go to the grocery store. And he goes, right. And to continue to believe that that worked in that way for that reason is killing you, Shivani. It is your fatal error. And it's like, no, it isn't. I got to the grocery store and back. Right? It's so slippery, isn't it? And yet without that piece, emptiness is purely theoretical and not really helpful. Why do things work sometimes and not all the time if the things we do are the real causes for what we think happens next? If they're the real causes, they should work every single time. Why? Because if they don't sometimes, it means the result's relying on something else. And so they weren't really the cause. If the cause needs something else to be the cause sometimes, then it's not the cause. Right? Even that one's really hard to grasp. We go, no, causes work sometimes and sometimes they don't. That's life. Yeah. And then that's the mistake that we just go, okay, that's fine. That's just absurd, says Nagarjuna, that we're okay with that. So he's not pointing out emptiness directly. He's pointing out the absurdity of our belief in cause and effect. Is he saying there's no cause and effect at all? No. We know the punchline. What's the real cause and effect? What's the cause that works every single time? Seeds, karma. But we can't like reach into our karmic pocket and make it work. Right? Or our cars wouldn't need batteries. Right? Because right. Batteries that go bad. You just reach into your pocket. I need car seats today. But we can't, why can't we do that? We should be able to, shouldn't we? If karma and emptiness is true, we should be able to reach into our karmic pocket and pull out what we need when we want.
Yeah, we should be able to,
Yeah,
but everything we do is so unconsciously done. So
right.
we never realize that moment where we created something that
Right,
goes into the karmic pocket.
right, right.
So it's just like making a cake. You have the basic same recipe. You've been doing it umpteen times, but that one time you were in a bad mood and everything is right. The steps, everything's right. The baking time is right, but somehow the cake never turned out right.
Right, exactly. Exactly. So, like Joanna pointed out, each chapter, he's pointing out some way in which the way we believe cause-effect relationship is happening. He points out how it can't be happening the way we think. And we follow his train of thought. Okay. We get to the conclusion. So see, none of those have any nature. And our mind goes, what? Right? because, right, our deep seeds for I am so a being with my own nature. And then we react. You know, okay, I get you, Arjuna, but blah. And out comes the next chapter. And he walks us through it again, and we go, okay. And the end of the chapter, see, no nature to that cause and effect relationship either. And we go, what? I do so exist because blah. And we're into the next chapter. So we are done 13 of those. Like, I don't know about you, but I am a really slow study. I still, yeah. But at the end, what? So refresh my memory. What was the first chapter about?
Can I try?
Please.
Nothing. The first chapter. Is it no me, no mine?
No, it was analysis of causes.
I think GL wanted to dive deeper into this first chapter. I'm
All
not sure,
right,
GL.
yeah. Take it away.
Yeah. So I'm brave enough because I think I just want to try to study a bit. So then I say, okay, let's try to take one chapter each. Then I say, okay, maybe I should, since I propose it, then I say, okay, I take the first chapter. But then later I was like, am I doing the right thing?
Yes. Every effort is worth it.
It's so hard, and I spent some last 1 week. I spent some time to read and then try to digest. I still find it very difficult, and I go and look at some of the video from Geshe Michael and look at some of the homework and the answer key and things like that. Then I start to think. I have a slightly better understanding, but I still felt just now, only just now, I called my father and then he told me because tomorrow I'm supposed to fetch him to see doctor. And then last week when I fetched him to see doctor, he was complaining some problem. Then he said he recovered. And just now when I called him, he was complaining that his body is itchy and things like that. And then he started to complain about that doctor. That was like, I feel so bad that why this thing is keep happening, like never ending. And then I start to think about it. Tonight I have to share Nagarjuna. So where is the emptiness of this whole thing? Then I start to see myself, wow, that is really about the 8 worthy thought that I have, because we feel happy when we get what we want. But in this case, is I feel unhappy when my feeling is not good. Then I was like, oh yeah, it's so easily to fall trap. Even I was like taking the 1 week to prepare for this thing, trying to see things is not coming from themselves. But when the real situation happened, I still feel that why it happened? Why is it tomorrow I will like a whole day I will have to see what happened and things like that. And it was like not easy, I would say, even that we are trying to be consciously aware. But still, when the thing comes, I still say that I just fall back to the way how I think. So maybe that's a reason why tonight I have to share to remind me.
Right.
Okay, so I prepared some slide. I won't think it's a fantastic, but I just try to make some sharing so that this is really based on my understanding, and teacher and everyone else, please feel free to challenge me because I think this is my limited understanding. Okay, let me try. Okay, let me share screen. Can I share? Yes, I can share. Okay, can you see my screen? Can, right? Okay, good. So chapter 1, analysis of conditions. So I started with verse 1.2. Okay, verse 1.2, it says that that's the thing that things happen in dependence. Okay, so that's I think what Lama Sarani trying to say about the dependence origination, right? And then we talk nothing ends, nothing begins. Nothing stops, but nothing ever lasts forever. Nothing comes and nothing goes. No two things are different, nor are any two the same. So then I start to think about it. How does it really happen in real life? So, for example, some people ask me, actually, I have a friend, how to start a new career. This friend of our book club, she has been working with I would say a terrible boss for many years. And then she got a new job. She was very happy. She thought that she can start a new career. And then we told her, watch out for your seat. And if your seat did not wear off, you might still face the same thing. Fair enough. After 2 months, she quit the new job because she faced another boss, and I would say is also terrible. And she had to travel like every day 1 hour plus to the new workplace for one way. So she decided she quit, and now she said, I want to start a new career by doing some own business. So I was thinking, yeah, we felt that this thing is still, even we learn it, she also learns it, but still when things happen, still feeling that the boss is coming from the boss side, but it's not from our own seat. So we still also discuss with her, yeah, the distance of traveling is very far, maybe the job is not suitable and things like that. So how to start a new career? It seems to us it's like something will happen and then we can start a new career. Like her case, she was thinking, okay, now the boss is no good, so I want to start a new career, then I will have a better career. Or yeah, like her case is how to stop seeing an angry boss. She was trying very hard for many years. Even we felt that she was really, really unfortunate, and she was trying to be very patient. She knows seed planting and she tried to burn her bad seed, but still, when she moved to a new place, she's still not able to get it. And lately, another friend of me, my ex-colleague long time ago, managed to contact me and also asking, why my colleague all two of her colleagues like to backstab her, complaining about her, and she is keep asking, what seed do I plant? I was like, okay, I can share some seed, but still, when problem landed on me, I still feel that it's coming from the other side. It's easier to share with someone else. So that's how I felt. And yeah, how to get people to come to help me when I need some help, whether I still feel that why I'm helpless in situation that why people are not coming to help me. So we in the real life we still felt that the thing is should be coming, right? How I felt it, especially when you are stressed. And why my dad cannot get rid of his pain, and like lately the last few months he's keep having different kind of sickness and things like that. So I brought him like seeing different doctors and things like that, but why he still cannot end the pain? Why he's still having so much trouble despite all the different medication? And also I planted some seeds, but it seems that it's not easy to see the result. Okay, so that is in real life. And when is the war going to stop? And lately we see the war around the world is still going on. I think we just think about the people who live there. Okay, I think they were waiting for the thing to stop, right? And someone asked me, why a sweet relationship can turn sour? And the person do not know it at all. To them, it's so difficult. It's like, okay, now everything has changed after marriage, after they have a kid, and they start to see things has changed. And each one of them is trying to say that's the other party is wrong. And because they do not see it, it's so difficult to explain to them that they have used up the good seed. But then we just trying to tell them, well, try to be grateful and things like that. But to them is that the other person has changed. Okay, I have been trying to be nice, but the other person has changed. But why things are just, the good thing just stopped and then the bad thing just started. So Well, it seems to maybe it seems to most of us, there are something in the thing itself that will change. There are something that coming from the other side. So that is, I think, a lot for us to think. If we can always remember that is something else that caused it to happen, then we will be more mindful in seed planting. For me, how I look at it is that I will try as much as possible to remember this when I can. And when I fall back, then I will try to catch myself like just now and then try to get back to the track. Try to remember, okay, I should do Tongling for my dad, for example, instead of thinking that tomorrow what are the challenges I will have to face and things like that. So that's how I look at this. And if we go to verse 1.3, it says that nothing grows from itself. But when really things happen, I still feel that it's coming from the other side. And nothing grows from something else. Well, the first one actually is very difficult for me. Like, for example, when we said nothing grows from itself, I think in the class, we talk a lot about how the tree is coming from the seed. In fact, I talked to one of the friend in DCI lately about this Nagarjuna class. And she was like, yeah, but that's what we learned, right? Watermelon come from watermelon seed. Now you're telling me watermelon don't come from watermelon seed? So this like, so what do you all really learn in Nagarjuna? I was like, okay, what do we really learn in Nagarjuna? So that was an interesting discussion because we learned seed planting and we always thought that, okay, if I plant a seed, I should get a result. And that's where they were like, then what do I do? I'm generous, so I should get the money coming back, right? So now you are telling me the seed doesn't mean that you come back as the result. So what do you learn in Nagarjuna? And that was a difficult question for me. I have a joke when I listened to the video of one of the video of Geshe Michael. So he was teaching Nagarjuna and I don't know, some of you may have heard or watched the video, but I was so funny. So Geshe Michael was telling the people in Diamond Mountain, I believe the video was like recorded 2018 or 2019, something like that. And he tell the participants, so when you go home, people ask you, what do you learn? Oh, a tree doesn't come from the seed. Okay, so what does it mean? A seed cannot produce a tree? Yeah, that's what I learned. So then, so you're going, this is what you learned? Yes. Are you going back to Arizona again next year? Yes. He said your family member will probably think you are crazy. Now you go to there, Diamond Mountain, and after the retreat, you come back and you see the tree doesn't come from the seed, and to next year you are going back again. I mean, I'm not so good telling the story, but the way he tell, Geshe Michael, it was really fun. I was like, the whole gang was laughing. I was like, yeah, I was trying to convince my friend that in Nagarjuna class, we said the tree doesn't come from the seed because they don't touch. And she was like, then what happened? Actually, when I read this again, I was like, okay, so now how am I going to explain this? Well, that was really a challenging one, okay? So I still feel very, very challenging to explain to people. And then we talk about it so that I try to explain this because lately I met an old friend. This friend was one of our book club member many years ago. And lately I met her. And she had changed, she's more happy, she's energetic. But I felt that the way she speaks is a bit arrogant now because she was quite successful now. Then I talked to Choi, I said, our friend, now she act the old way already. So I still believe she is coming from the other side. I forgot totally about that. And we also compare her and with another friend. We said, yeah. Her style of talking is very like the other friend, right? So I mean, we were discussing it like real and we completely forget about the emptiness that she is actually our projection. So I caught myself and I told Choi that, hey, I think we forgot about projection and forgot about seed completely. So that is, I think, how fast we can fall to the situation. whenever we, how to say, whenever we catch ourselves sleep, that is when I will say we will try to improve ourselves. Hopefully next time we will be more alert. Actually, I only realized after 1 or 2 days when I meditate, and I was like, oh yeah, that's my projection. So I must be arrogant in one way, which I completely forget when we discussed about this friend. So that was really, I caught myself on this situation. Then I think that brings to the next topic. We talk about verse 1.4. Since we say that they are not the cause, then the next thing we talk about what could be then the conditions, right? 1.4, talking about the conditions. So then the condition, there's a 4 condition. Actually, this dominant one, I can't really remember already. The causal condition is like, I think it's like a seed, right? A seed will grow into a tree, right? This is a cause seed for a tree. And object condition is like, okay, I step on some very sharp object, and then this object is sharp, so I feel the pain. Can I say that's the object condition, right? The object is causing me to have the pain ribbon, maybe the feeling of pain. And then the condition of what comes immediately after, in level 10 of DCI, Giselle Michael said, if you are hungry, if you are sick, or if you are tired, those are some of the conditions that can make us become angry easily. So that's like one condition, it can trigger another condition. Because we are hungry, so we get easily upset. Or when we are sick, we can be irritated very easy. So like one condition come after another. And what's the dominant? I forgot. Teacher.
I don't have it in front of me either.
I forgot the dominant. I can't remember, frankly speaking. I'm too lazy to go back to the notes. I don't know which class, so I didn't check it. And it says that there's no 5th kind of condition. So when I try to take a look at it, I think of one example, okay, and the rest I explain, but I try to think of this example. I don't know whether I remember it correctly or not. I think in one of the DCI class, they say is that any other thing, for example, someone serving in Bali and a baby born in London. They say anything that is not a cause that stop it to happen can be the cause for something to happen. I don't know whether that is the dominant or not. I'm not sure. Kong Li, yeah, you want to help me? Yeah.
I have the notes in front of me. Yeah, the dominant conditions. The senses power dominant our perceptions. And then when we perceive something, our eye sense power. This is the 4th one, the dominant conditions. And then is the dominant factor which give rise to the thing we see. When our eye sees a pen, our eye sense power is the cause for what is seen. So this is the notes that I have written during the class. Yeah. Can get it?
Next time
Hello.
I'll ask for your note.
Yeah.
Which day? Do you remember which day? I will try to look for it.
Can. Yeah.
Okay. So that's a dominant, okay. And then I try to look at it, okay. Our problem actually, for example, I definitely would think a seed will cause the tree. It's my dad, and with his passion fruit. His passion fruit is coming from the seed of the passion fruit. So I see how he grow the passion fruit. So that's definitely the tree grows into a passion fruit tree, and lately these are some of the fruits that has not ripened yet, but now the fruit start to ripe. So then the turn to red color. So I saw how he grow the passion fruit tree. I saw this is coming from the seed, right? And then this is how it come. But we are telling here, this is not because there is another factor, because not every seed will turn into a passion fruit tree. That's how we keep telling. But if we want to talk to someone, like if I tell my dad, the passion fruit tree doesn't come from the seed, I think he will say you are crazy. He will probably scold me and say I'm crazy. Yeah, teacher.
So is Arya Nagarjuna saying that passion fruit trees don't come from passion fruit seed?
He is saying that it cannot be because, am I understanding? Because it doesn't touch, so there must be some other factor. Because when the seed is there, the tree is not there. When the tree is there, the seed has already end. And these two things doesn't touch.
Right. So is Nagarjuna saying you could have a passion fruit tree from never having had a seed?
No.
No. No. And that's the slippery part. What's the cause of the passion fruit seed making the tree?
It's our mental seed.
Our seeds ripening.
Yes.
Our seeing it that way makes it that way.
Okay.
Yes, the passion fruit seed doesn't make the passion fruit tree. Without my karma ripening, that passion fruit seed made the passion fruit tree that's making passion fruit that could make more trees, but maybe will and maybe won't, depending on my karmic seed.
Yes.
So seeds do make trees because my karmic seeds make them do it.
Mm.
And of course, eventually we're going to go there. How does my karmic seeds do that?
Yeah.
Right? If they don't have any nature of their own either, but so it's like it's a fun mental exercise to work on no, we learn from Diamond Mountain seeds don't cause things.
Yes.
But it's to leave it there, right? Is giving the wrong impression. Right? Because seeds do make sprouts, just not without our projection of that. Right? That's probably
Yes.
where you were going, and I cut you off. I'm so sorry. Back to GL, and Janet has her hand up.
Hi, Janet. I can't hear you, Tom.
Sumati David talks about his Parkinson's. There's the chemical cause, the physical cause, the genetic cause. There's the physical cause of the Parkinson's, and then there's the inconvenience side. He inconvenienced someone, and therefore there's the Parkinson's. And then there's his students. Maybe his student has a Parkinson's person, and maybe he's giving compassion. So it's all interrelated, and we're not omniscient. So we don't know. We just don't know. It's a huge problem that we don't know. But there it is out there. There totally is the physical side. There totally is the inconvenient side. There totally is that you have students. There is all of that. There's probably even more, but we just don't know. It's really sad, actually, but we just don't know.
But we can know the system and work with the system. Yes, Roxana.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, as Janice said, everything's interweaved and so difficult just to determine which was the first cause that started all, which condition triggered the seed to turn into a passion fruit and to continue giving more passion fruit trees and for us to have a delicious fruit, passion fruit to eat and somebody must say it's disgusting, I don't like it, or I don't know, everything's so I mean it's real, but where do you touch it? Where do you start interweaving? I mean, taking it apart. It's like the spaghetti noodle, as you said,
Right.
Durlama.
Well, it's like a spaghetti noodle that's connected, right? Because, right, but the first thing you said, where does it all start? And to
Yeah.
just have that question, where does it all start, reflects our belief in the self nature of things. Right, to say there has to be a start is mistaken view. I do it all the time, but it's like, yeah, you know, no start, no stop. He says it. We go there.
He says it, but if you want to think through it analytically,
I know.
you have to go there.
We
I
have
mean-
broken equipment.
I know. I know. I do it. I do it. I do it, and I do it, and I. Although you say you know the punchline, just I mean, my mind still just tries to see everything interweave together between time, space, actions,
Right. That's a good
worldview,
start.
so many things. But my mind, okay, where do you start trying
Yeah.
to pull it apart and to try to analyze it, reflect on it, and then say, well, there's no nature then.
Right. Without falling off that cliff of, well, if there's no nature,
Of course,
then nothing matters, right?
you need it.
As
You need
opposed
the
to, oh, there's no nature, right?
as Gai. I'm sorry, I'm not very good at saying your name, Gaik or Gail.
You can call me GL, it's easier.
Oh, gee, okay, thank you. I had a friend yesterday was complaining that her just collapses. She says, my husband just left me. I have had 2 car accidents. My dog has had surgery. My dad had a heart attack. And I go, and she goes, I'm miserable. I don't know from where to start. And I go, well, first start with some Tonglen. Help yourself. And I go, and she was complaining. And then I just said, okay, then just shower yourself with blessings. And you'll come out of it as a beautiful deity. And she says, oh, I like that part. So sometimes it's so foggy, things are not so clear, that I kept on telling her, it's good that we have the Dharma. Fortunate that we have the wisdom. We're so fortunate, but she couldn't see it at that moment. But when I said, just shower yourself with blessings and just look at yourself, how you're going to come out of as a deity. And she goes, oh, I like that part. So it's purification. We're purifying. But we don't see it at that time. So it's difficult. No mud, no lotus. That's right, Joanna. Thank you for your time and your patience. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I like it. No mud, no lotus. Actually, yeah, it's so. I felt that we are so fortunate because we have the chance to learn Dharma. And for me, if I reflect on the situation, if I don't learn Dharma, I think I will feel very, very stressed, and I will even plant more bad seeds by complaining, by being stressed myself, and also the pass the stress around to people around me and things like that. So I think that's for me is a big step already. Even I have to say I still fall back easily. So that is how I catch myself. And yeah, maybe I just continue. There are about 2 more slides only. Okay. So yeah, I just got this video. I think it's like we all see a lot of things growing in our environment, and we always felt like, oh, the things are coming from seed, and naturally, if we put them at the right place, we put the water, we have the sunlight, the temperature and everything, then the thing will just grow, and it's so natural. And if the thing doesn't grow, we will say, okay, maybe the seed is not good, or maybe the soil is no good. We never felt that, or we never think, or we even never say that this is coming from our state. I think that is naturally how we do it. But well, Ayah Nagarjuna is trying to prove to us that it has to be the growing and the ending have to come to touch certain point, then only it makes sense. Which, if this is a cause, then it have to be the effect. Then it have to really have there is a connection. But on the other hand, like just now Lama Srani trying to say, I cannot get a watermelon from an apple seed, right? So on the one hand, that is also some kind of connection. So that is where it makes challenging. And then I just try to share another situation that I have lately. So I injured my arm twice actually. I twisted it, then I went for acupuncture, and it recovered like 80-90%. But 2-3 days later, I injured again. So that second injury was much severe because it's like the first one not yet recovered. Then I keep asking myself, why am I so careless? Why am I so careless after the first injury? Okay, and then I keep asking myself, why it's so inconvenient? Someone is in my right hand, so I cannot lift up things and things like that for like few weeks. Then I was like, keep telling myself, when is it going to recover? I forgot about seed, about this is the seed ripening. Then sometimes I will tell Choi that, okay, I think it's purification. But still, whenever I look at my hand, I cannot lift up things, I will tell myself, wow, this hand is so terrible. I can't do so many things. I forget about all these things about seed. And I only complaining myself, oh, it's so inconvenient. I cannot lift up this, I cannot do this, I cannot do that. How easily fall back to the situation when the how do I say, when the thing is just happening. So that's how I felt. And I think I only discovered it after many days. That, wow, what is it I have planted to see this? Okay, all these things, why I injured twice, it must be something that have happened. And I think back, and then I suddenly discovered, wow, I used to be very cruel to small animals, insects and things like that. Just kind of like play with them and kill them like nobody business when those young days and things like that. Then even those adult days, before I learned Dharma, we were like all the insect repeller and things like that. We were like doing a lot of those activities for me. Then was like, well, now it's time to let you feel the things that you put on others. That was really, I would say, like maybe about after many days, at least 1 or 2 weeks later. But I can see how slow is my mind working. Okay, I think that's about all that I have prepared for this. Welcome all feedback, especially teacher and the rest. Please correct me. I hope I don't confuse everyone.
Thank you. The analysis of causes is that first chapter. And remember, Geshe uses the impossible and the invisible. Yeah. So Nagarjuna was pointing out the different ways that we believe, as ignorant beings, we believe things cause other things. Those were those 4 different factors. And one of them had like 6 within it. And then that verse says, and you won't find any other cause-result relationship other than these 4. So all we need to do is look at the cause relationship in these 4 categories to show ourselves that the way we think things cause other things can't really be the real cause. Not that they're not causes at all. We're making them be causes. Thank you very much, right? But we want to keep making those consistencies. So we follow the chapter and we end up with, okay, I think I'm getting it. What I think is the cause isn't the real cause. There's something else that's causing that cause to be the cause. Right? The appearance of the seed making the tree, the appearance of the drunk driver smashing my car, the appearance of the angry boss, the appearance, right? It is happening. Nagarjuna is not denying our world, not denying our existence or denying our experiences. That'd be nuts. It's trying to help us understand where they really come from. When we understand where they really come from, does it automatically make them all better? No.
I feel better.
Right. It just gives us a window of opportunity to respond in a different way. Does that immediately make it all better? No. In fact, sometimes it seems to make it worse. It's like, I'm kind. They just slap me again. I'm kind. They just hit me again. I'm kind. Right? It's getting worse, not better. Nagarjuna goes, right. You're on it, honey. Right? Burn that crap off. For a long time, like my inner mantra was better than a lifetime in hell, better than a lifetime in hell. You know, I still fall back on that sometimes, but things have gotten so much better that that doesn't even occur to me so much anymore. But it's a different mindset, and to share it with someone who hasn't had the training, it doesn't make sense. You know, to say to your dad, well, Dad, it's better than a lifetime in hell, right? That's not going to help him. It might help you deal with your dad, but not going to help him. Yeah.
Even make him more upset.
Right, exactly. And yet it's tough, right? To be around people that complain. And our habit is to try to address each one of their complaints and try to straighten it out. And maybe they just need to, you know, bitch and moan. And it's bad seeds for them to go ahead and continue to do that. But maybe all we need to go is, yeah, that's yucky. Yeah, that's yucky. And in our mind, we're thinking, burn it off, right? My other thing was I had this little fire, you know, that seemed to travel along with me on my left side. And it's like every time something like that would happen, I just like think, throw it in the fire. Throw it in the fire. I was probably doing this a lot. What people probably thought I had a tick or something. But you know, it's our response and that makes the difference. Not fix it for people, but be them, you know, let them. Janet probably deals with that a lot. Yes, ma'am. Unmute, please.
I don't deal with things very well, but my Nay Lama said that people are to be avoided at all costs.
Oh,
And he's basically telling me, if you practice with the group, like if you practice with us, or I have other groups I practice with, then there's a discussion about that focus. And other people, they don't have that focus. So my Nay Lama and I have both had a lot of dental work, and I have a lot of Asians have gum disease. And I was yelling at the dentist, "You're hurting me. Stop that. How could you be doing that?" But it wasn't me. It wasn't that. It was the gum disease. It was because I had the inflammation and she was measuring my pockets. So after like many, many years, I don't have those pockets and she measures and it doesn't hurt anymore. Well, that's what those people are like. Those people have gum disease. And they feel all this pain and they think we're just needling them. My Lama says, my Nay Lama says, "You keep needling me. Stop needling me," because he's a person too. He says, avoid people, but he's a person too. But in the context of this, it's coming from us. that the pain is coming from us. And then there's the doctor aspect. It's also the physical body. So the things that create it, you know, the chemicals or the exposure, the genetics, that needs to be addressed. And also what's coming from us needs to be addressed. And I just thought it was interesting when we were talking about my memory, and I was trying to remember all the considerations from Shantideva to address gossip. And I've gotten better now. Now I can read Shantideva, and I don't have to memorize all of them. Like the one that's relevant, somehow I look at that one instead of all of them.
That's
And
fine.
so I think that you guys saying that you would help someone with memorization to help me is such a different approach than the people with gum disease. So when you're with a group and they're all looking at how, well, it's all coming from my side, I can help them by purifying. So I went to a workshop last week, and I had gone with other people, with these people years ago. Maybe like the last time was like maybe 2017. It's been a while. And I started with them maybe in 1996. So I've been with them for like 30 years. So I had all these memories. And I brought up a memory, and my friend said that was heartbreak. And she said, you know, because we had a teacher, and she said, you know, it's good for the teacher to bring positive things into the future and not heartbreak. And I thought, how could I not know this, that it's coming from my side? And how could I not want to bring something that would bring happiness for the future and have memories of heartbreak in the past? So, you know, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's a lot easier, I think, with us to practice than to practice with our family members or for people who are just either starting or have no training at all. But it's not impossible to do new people. It's not. I noticed at this last workshop, she said no new people. It was just us and the people that have been practicing for many years. And she wasn't going to have that energy. But, you know, it's not that she doesn't want it. It disrupts the whole group too. So I think it just really depends. And as we progress, I think that we'll get stronger, and this probably won't be an issue anymore. But right now, you know, we're practicing with each other, and I think we're doing pretty damn good, actually. The fact that, you know, we want to bring happiness to each other, and we want to plant happy seeds and take care of them. And whether we meet or not, we still will remember each other, and we'll remember if someone's having a hard time, we're going to take an action to help that person by helping someone else. So we just don't see that anymore.
Right. Nice. Well said. Well said. Let's take a break, shall we? I will pause the recording.
Since are doing the are making the show.
So first chapter conclusion was, things don't cause other things. What's the matter with you? Is that right? No. Things don't cause other things the way we think they do. They do cause other things, forced by us perceiving them that way. So causes, conditions, they have no natures. They have no natures of their own. And I know my mind, I hear myself say that. And it's like, right? I understood what I was saying until I said those causes have no nature of their own. Because all of a sudden my mind goes, some piece goes, oh, then they don't really do anything. But they do, right? Because my seeds make them do. And so they do. So we get to the end of chapter 1. Yeah. But then it's like, no nature at all. But Nagarjuna, things go, right? We do things. I do things. I go places. I don't know why he goes to going going, goer, gone is the second chapter, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It seems funny, but somehow our kachik is what triggers that. So when you hear everything that you believe is the cause for something else doesn't work like that, everything. Where does your kachik come in? What does kachik say? Well, then there's no cause for me? That can't be, because here I am. And maybe it's that, and I go through my day. Maybe that's why we end up going next. Yeah, but I exist. I do things. And so chapter 2 comes up. An analysis of going and coming. Remember that one? Did anybody decide they wanted to review that one for us? Nobody took 2.
No, but for me, I took 3 and 4, so the next ones, and
Okay.
I have really a hard time to try to make the connections between the chapters. It is so damn hard to me. I just don't get it. But the only ones that make some kind of sense are the first 4 ones.
There's 4.
So for me, it is there's there's the seed and there's the tree, and Nagarjuna takes us our fantasy that the cause of the tree was the seed, and then for me it's quite logic. I would ask myself, but you can watch it growing, like in this beautiful video from GL. We have the process, we see it, so I put it to the earth, and then it's coming up as a sprout, and then at some point we have a tree, and then it is even blooming. And then for me, it's this process information that we are kind of throwing Nagarjuna in the face, like, see, it's doing its thing. And he is like, So there, for me, there it comes up. Where do they touch? Just show me. And so he's using this example of walking, coming, going. So where are you the comer and where are you the goer? At what time? Where does it switch in time or space? And he just neither physically, not kind of he just, you can't just pin it down. I mean, you the kachik, me the kachik. So
Right.
and that was my bridge to that one. And then I come up, but yeah, I do this thing. I am walking because I have a body. I have a body. I can see my path. I can smell what's next to me. I feel my foot touching the ground. I feel that one. So this is my bridge to this kind of, I don't know if it's correct, but that was my take on that,
Yeah.
to make a connection.
Yeah. And really, like when we were studying chapter 2, did you try it? Did you go out for a walk and really find the moment your heel touched the ground and rocked forward and pushed you forward? I mean, really, it's a very tangible method of reaching this like glimpse of this can't be happening the way I think. It is happening, but it can't actually be happening the way I think it's happening. Right? Very physically and direct. Maybe that's why he went there, that he wanted us to go outside and walk on a street and check it out. Can I find the moment that my foot touches the sidewalk? Yeah, there it is. Yeah, but. And then, are you the goer before you go? If you're the goer, you're always going. That means you can't ever get there, which means you're not actually a goer because you don't ever get there. Because goers get someplace, and right, all that semantics. And we were come on, this is ridiculous. Excuse me, I've got to walk to the bank. And we get to the end of chapter 2, and it says something like, see? No goer, no gone, no getting there, no going back. And what does our Kachik say?
Our Kachik says, yeah, but you know, I have those 5 heaps, and there it is, my body. I can feel my foot going to the ground.
Right.
So with chapter 2, it's just my head and the teachings that we have that I conceive that one. Because I always, when I walk, I feel my foot on the ground. I'm so
Right.
sorry, but
Right.
Nagarjuna
Feels
didn't
like
get
it.
me. Yeah, it feels like it. And the thing that I tell myself, or I try to remember at this moment always, is the part in the teaching where you said, like, it's coming when you're driving in the car through the night. So it's coming, you know, or also Geshe-la says that there's the door, and you just project the picture with a big door, and then it's getting smaller if you go away. So, but you don't move at all. There is no movement. It's just the picture is showing you distance. Or so with chapter 2, I really have to work intellectually and try to remember that one, because it's just not my experience. I'm so sorry, I'm not there. But with chapter 3, I really have this this feeling to this, you know, this frustration that you mentioned in the opening, when as a kid, when they explain you how the world is working, it just didn't make sense. There were so many exceptions, there were so many stories, and I just never really felt that I would know and ever understand how things will work because it's just too complex and overwhelming. And I felt, to be honest, I felt very long time very, very fine with that someone is just explaining it to me. Okay, they know. It just didn't make sense, and I didn't know how to help with that. That was at some point so frustrating that there's lots of explanations, and it took me quite a while to understand that we are storytellers, very creative storytellers, and we come up with a new story and a new story and another one, and it's like so cool what our fantasies can be. And so this is the thing where Nagarjuna really kicked in with me, that at least when I remember, not the way we think, it helps me getting over this point of there's things we might think we understand. And I never had the methods myself to ask. I somehow I was missing. They were explaining something, it didn't make sense to me, so I was asking again. Then at some point they got exhausted and I felt stupid, and then I just didn't know how to ask. What's really happening? And Nagarjuna gives me this entry point, at least, where I don't have to explain everything myself if I don't understand dependent origination and emptiness. It's just the mere thought and possibility that it's working in a different way than we think. So this was really eye-opening for me, and it helps me getting out of this frustration not to know how to help. And with the body, this was really fun to think about again. I will share my screen with you. I hope it works. Let me see. So for me, the bridge was, okay, there's no causes like seed and tree. Then I asked, yeah, but I see it growing. So he's getting to this moment of, let's look at the process that's happening. Is there really a process happening? And he's making this change into our experience of walking. And then, of course, I myself, Kachika, will say, yeah, but come on, I have a body. Come on, I feel how I walk. And so he's calling it the powers here, but he's going into all those sensations that we have. So the experiences through our sense powers. And that I found a really, really helpful discussion when we had that one at the beginning. So I have, of course, lots of stories about how the things work. So I have these faculties. I have a nose and I can smell, and I have a tongue and I have a foot, and with the foot I can feel because there's skin and I feel the heat. And then I have the story about there's the sensation, and then of course it's interacting with my brain, and the brain is processing, and then I can make decisions. So there's this wordly explanation of how everything is working. So I sit opposite Nagarjuna and tell him my little beautiful story about it. And then he's just nicely asking me some questions like, but how it come that people who have eyes can't see? How come that people, who have skin, but some don't feel pain, some feel pain? How come that a nice music for me is too low, and for others it's much too loud? So how come that there's so many exceptions to all of this? So what's the real causes is again kind of the discussion for me, at least. And it was really, really nice because this is one thing that I do with when someone tries to explain me how things work. This at least is my entry point to ask, so, but what about this one and this one? And then they think themselves, something is fishy. Seems not to work that way for everyone. At least a glimpse that there must be something that has to do with myself. So Nagarjuna is asking those beautiful questions by first of all asking us, so you have an eye, okay, what's the eye actually doing? Can it see itself? No, it can't. The sensation that I have when I see things, is it too bright or too dark or whatever? It's not for everyone the same. And then also, what a weird thing, if it can't work by itself, it needs some brain to process information. But if the eye is seeing, why is, this, why can't it do it by itself? It is the power. So why does it need something else? And there's people who have an eye and a brain, but they can't see anyway. So there's a connection, but it's not working. So it's just gently showing us that there is just things that we can't explain with this wrong view that we are having to things. And Jia, when she initiated that we could choose a chapter and then try to bring it to some daily examples. Last week I have been to a boot camp with some other entrepreneurs, and it was so fun to see how everybody was having different experiences, also physical experiences, all the examples that I already talked about, like the one sees only the shabby and the other one sees beauty in the location where we were. One really said that the coffee tastes good, and another one was like, okay, not my type of coffee. I don't like it. There were some distractions in between. I always heard the birds sing, and some others were distracted by motor car sounds. So even though all of us can hear, for example, we heard completely different things. So this ear power, what does it do? Even if it's working, we are just having different experiences. So they are unique to us. And so what's the how and the why? And I always feel myself that whenever is someone trying to tell me how things are working, I also come up with yeah buts all the time. With different yeah buts, but I have them myself. And in this case, Kachika goes from, okay, there's eye and ear and everything, but there's also other things. I have 5 hips, And even if you're discussing with me my body and the sensations that I can get through my powers, I have feelings and I have other factors that I make up. And we were discussing them so nicely. Like there's this faith and shame and memory, stinginess, distraction, and they are so unique to us. And we know that. And yet I think that I am existing because I have a body, I have my powers, and I have much more. I consist, if you take away the powers and everything, but I have feelings and I experience things and I feel shame or I have distraction. So I have and do and all these things that we are doing up. And I have another story to go to. And this was so fun to look at this event last week because some people really felt nice, you know, they felt relaxed, they could sit in this nice sofas and chairs and it was relaxing, and it's coming from the outside, of course, because the seats are so comfortable. I feel chilled and relaxed. So this one is there and I feel relaxed. We had a pregnant woman with us. Well, she felt relaxed too, but she had a really hard time sitting so low and getting up anyway. So for her, it was quite a different experience that she was having. So there's always something in the outside that makes me feel and experience things in the way they do. But if they were comfortable from their own side, everybody should have the same pleasant, relaxing experience. But we didn't. And the same with everyone else. So the whole event was so nice and people also friendly. So the people make my impression so nice. Would there have been other people? I wouldn't have enjoyed it so much, but there were nice people, so it was a nice event. All the time there's something from the outside, I think, is making me having a good or bad feeling. And also all the other factors that we make up, which I only understood by our discussion. The feeling is always good, bad, or neutral. And those things that we distinguish, like all those varieties in our experience, like joy or disappointment or whatever, these are things that are mental functions. So we also make them up. And so just look at the things that I experience with the view that, that's really nice here. Why is it so nice? I see the how. There's comfy chairs, I feel chilled. But why do I feel comfortable and the pregnant lady not? So this really helps me to think that there should be something else going on. And there's this impossible thing, the chair itself is doing its magic and everybody has the same experience. There must be something that is invisible to us that brings the magic to the show in that moment. And for me, it's always this sometimes working or not. So this helps me really a lot. So it's like, is it always the same? And so far, I have never found anything that really was working like for 100%, like in these explanations and stories that we make up. So again, I like this, will the real me please stand up? Because all those inner feelings, sensations, thoughts, whatever I have, they are never the same instant by instant. They are changing so fast sometimes. And even if I think I have been sad for quite a while now, those separate moments of sadness have always been different, stronger or lighter or whatever. So this now and now and now, it's so fun that you always have this mudra that you're doing, and it's for me it's really just, well, it's always changing and it's shifting, and so am I with my inner feelings and also my body. We know that the cells are dying moment by moment, and some are renewed, but not all the time and not all of them. So why the ones and the other not? And it really helps me just to keep on asking, because it took me 40 years to meet Nagarjuna kind of thing. And I'm so trained in this old thinking, and just to have this one question. So is it always like that? And do you really think it's working like that? It helps me in my daily life to think about seeds and finding like the real causes that are going on. Yeah, and then of course Kachika always has a yeah but, and then he skips over to the next chapter. But this is for the moment at least the body and the factors and the powers that he was discussing with us.
Thank you, very nice. As I was following your explanation, I was feeling, everything you were saying was, I resonate with it all, and I felt myself reconfirming a me separate from all that.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Yeah.
comfortable cow, right, right. Really, really relating and reconfirming the me,
To me.
trying to understand that it's not out there, right? So in my effort to understand, I was misunderstanding because I was reconfirming the very me that Arya Nagarjuna is trying to get us to reach the conclusion of, oh, right? Will the real me please stand up and be in that without freaking out? And yet the explanation was blocking me from that. Not that it was wrong.
Yeah, I
It's that
know.
my mind couldn't hear it in the right way,
Yeah.
right? Without going, yeah, right? Because that's going to mean I don't exist. When the real me, please stand up, there's, right? A part of me goes, that means not there at all. When in fact, it's like, that's more real. The Janet. Right, you
You're
just muted
mute.
yourself back.
Michael Roche and Ken Rinpoche are great. We have to do our homework and then we got to do the final. So when I did the final, I reviewed Shantideva. And then the answer was that if somebody else, for gossip, if somebody else is in pain, then I am in pain. So if somebody else, if the pregnant lady is uncomfortable, then I am uncomfortable. So if one person is suffering, then we're suffering. The fact that we think that I gossip, but it doesn't hurt someone, the fact that they hurt and I don't think that I'm hurt too, that's the wrong thinking right there. So there's that interdependence that we're in denial about. And that's what the solution to gossip was. And I discovered through doing the final because Tim makes us do all the homework. And so eventually I think it all comes around too, that if we really felt if someone was uncomfortable, we wouldn't have chairs that are just for one person and we would accommodate the people. But our society is not like that. It's like the people in America anyway. I know no one here lives in America because I live in this place. Well, no, Lama Sarani does. So if you can make money, you're valuable. But if you can't, you're not valuable. That's crazy. That's completely
It's the same
nuts.
in Europe too. Yeah, yeah. But
So
I think for me, it also is the always the blaming of the outside. So Nagarjuna is nicely for me. It was a nice entry into this. There's something wrong, even with the explanation of me and myself, and he's getting more and more adamant the farther we come. But here he started to question this self. But I myself have. I think it's very skillful because I was myself not so far. I would have not understood at that moment that I am completely empty myself. I'm just question my way of thinking about how my body works and also how my inner processes, all the functions, the mental functions are working. And just to recognize that they are so fast changing and not any instant the same than the other, helped me to somehow, how to say, to knock at the door from this, I'm empty myself. But I wouldn't have been so far. If it would have freaked me out at that point when we started studying Nagarjuna, I wouldn't have got it. I'm hardly getting this stuff, So if you come with this, everything is empty, like with the seeds don't do anything. It's just freaking out. So it helped me that he's coming with this, just question all the stories you make up. Yet I have to say, I fall off the cliff that sometimes I really think, okay, then, medicine and everything, I mean, it's like they are not working at all and I'm not taking them. So that's the other side of the medal at the moment, to really be open and tolerating myself, other people's methods and tools that they give me, that they think they are helpful. And I always think like they are empty, they don't do anything for me, so I don't use them, which is a problem itself. It's another obstacle that I have understanding that I still need those worldly things. I can't, just by understanding maybe emptiness and dependent origination, I can't just have, this out of the air money that we all wish for. So this is for me an obstacle to believe or be open to the things that conventionally are available for us to make our seeds work. So I'm missing lots of chances, I think. I don't know. Yeah.
Nice,
Storyteller.
well done. So we've said, I do so exist because I have those sense powers. And I have those heaps, what Buddha said, right? We're made of heaps. So I have to have a me that has the heaps. And then Joanna pointed out, yes, we have the heaps, but not in the way we think. And so we get to this conclusion of, what, Nagarjuna, you're saying my heaps have no nature? Right? Hearing it meaning they don't really exist. And chapter 5 is this analysis of the elements. And it seems to me what we've said is, I do so have a heap of form because Lord Buddha said my form is made up of the elements. I do so have a heap of form. And it's made up of the elements. And then he went looking for these elements. The nature of the elements that we believe make up the heap of form that we believe is a thing unto itself. Right? Not unto itself. We know our heap of form needs to be fed. It came from our parent. We know all that stuff. But we still think it's a thing, a separate existing thing that me as a separate existing thing has. And to prove it, we say this heap of form is made up of elements. So it has to be there and I have to have it. And Nagarjuna's chapter 5 is, well, let's look at those elements that we think of in such a separate existing entity way. And let's check them out. If water is a thing that has the quality of being wet and flowing, then there are qualities wet and flowing that exist independent of water, and there's water that exists independent of wet and flowing, and it takes the two together, coming together, to have the element water, and that doesn't make sense. You can't have water that's not wet and flowing, and you can't have wet and flowing that's not water fluidity, right? You can't have an element that has quality. It's like, well, you can't have an element that doesn't have qualities either. He goes, right. The element with qualities is not coming from it. So we can have it. So we can have a heap that's made of 5 elements because the elements don't have those qualities in them, and our heap don't have those elements in them without our projections making them that. Did anybody take chapter 5? Did I just ruin their show? So end of chapter 5, those elements have no nature. And if the elements have no nature, how can they make up a heap of form? So your form can't have any nature either. Right? Make it easier. No nature of their own. But when we say that, it reconfirms that there's water that doesn't have any nature of its own. Do you see? It's slippery because we think it clarifies that we understand what he means by no nature of its own, but in fact, it's validifying our misunderstanding. Because there has to be water there first for us to say it has no nature of its own. And oops, we just grew. So no nature, water, no nature, fire, no nature. So there can be water, fire, earth, air, space as the molecules of our body, right? Chemistry would say carbon, nitrogen, right? All the rest of those. We call them elements. So when we hear there is no element, what does our Kachika say? We still come back to I do so exist, Arya Nagarjuna. Like that always seems to be the bottom line. We feel threatened in our very existence. I do so exist. I do so have my own nature because I have desire. Right? We're grasping. Okay. I won't fight with you about bodies and elements, Arya Nagarjuna, but I do so exist because I want things. Right? I experience and I like and I want. And that chapter 6 is that analysis of liking and wanting, desire. I do so exist because I desire. And he didn't, if you remember that chapter, he didn't say, why do you desire? You know, your desires are never going to get satisfied. He didn't go there. He said, let's analyze liking and wanting. Right? The very, whatever that state of mind is, do you like something first or then want it? Or do you want it and then like it? Or like, how do those two go together? Because it takes the liking and wanting to trigger something else. Right? And every time we have this like want scenario going on, again, we are reconfirming there is a me and there is a thing that has some quality in it that I'm attracted to and I believe will give me some happiness. And he says, let's look at liking and wanting. Just raw liking and wanting. Where does it come from? Is it from the item? Is it from last week? Right? Where does it come from? Where's the moment it actually happened? It was an interesting chapter. And finally he says, see, liking, wanting, no nature. And now we're grasping at straws. Okay. But that doesn't mean I don't exist. Our Nagarjuna is not saying we don't exist, but our mind hears it that way. And so we come back with, but I do so exist because I do things, right? We're back to that. We started there. Chapter 2 was I do things. And he goes, well, let's check going. We're back to I do things. Chapter 7, the analysis of produced things. I make things happen. That object of desire does so give me pleasure. Right, so he's taking chapter 6 and going a step deeper. when does the turning the key actually start the car? The first moment you stick it in? The first instant you turn it? The last instant you turn it? If you keep turning it, the car makes that awful grounding sign. Have you ever done that? It takes this particular moment when there's enough whatever that turns and the car, there must be a moment we can find when the production happens. It's cause result again. Is the cause for something before the result has happened? No, you can't say. The cause for the result isn't the cause for the result until the result has happened. But then the cause has done its job. It's in the past, it's gone, it's done. And at what point did it become the cause? It's the same with producing things that produce other things. So he takes us through that till we follow his train of thought. Okay, things don't produce other things in the way that we thought, but they do produce other things, don't they? Yeah. So from chapter 7 to chapter 8, we must not like completely follow him on chapter 7 because chapter 8 is the analysis of doers and deeds. Right? So he produced things like the key that turns the car. And then he goes to doers and deeds, the me turning the key. So we didn't quite get it. We go, okay, I see that there's my seeds making the turning the key start the car, but there's still a me turning the key. And he goes, yeah, let's look at that. The doer and the deed you're doing, are those separate things? Do we think they're separate things? Yeah, I think I'm a me, and I think I'm turning the key in the car. I think me is doing that. And he goes, well, let's just check that out. And he shows us that I'm a different me. I'm a different me that gets in the car than puts the key, because putting the key in the car changes me. And then turning it changes me again. And then driving the car changes me again. And it's like, so how can you say you're the doer of the deed if the deed changes me into a different doer than I was before? So doer and deed have to be the same thing. No, I'm not a key starting the car. I'm the one doing it. He goes, no, right? You, the one doing it, is not doing it until it's happening. So it's making you be the one doing it. Yeah, right? No nature of my own. Chapter 8. And we say, oh, I got sickness. We say, no, Nagarjuna, okay, I get all that, but there is a me that goes through time. Otherwise, the me that gets out of the car, like, would be a completely different person in a completely different reality. And, when I'm driving home from the grocery store, I would end up in Phoenix, right? Instead of Tucson Estates. It's like, there is a me that goes through time. There's some consistent me, and I go life to life to life. There is so a me. I had to be there first for the turning the car key to make me into a turning the car key. I had to be there first. Didn't I? Don't we? Yes. No. In the garden, you can't be there first. Doesn't it make you just want to pop? Yes, pop, please. So he looks at what's there first. If you remember that chapter, chapter 9. Then chapter 10, we dig in our heels and we say, no, there has to be a what's there first, because fire burns firewood. And he goes, okay, let's look at this again. Produce things, right? It's really, each chapter is the same thing over and over and over again. Let's look at fire and its fuel. If you think you have to be there first in order to do something, let's look at fire and its fuel. It's curious, right? He didn't say, let's look at you that was there first. Fire and fuel, what comes first? The firewood's not firewood until it's burning. The fire is not fire until it's burning firewood. Where's the moment it happens? What's there first? What's there second? Right, we got another glimpse. But we still say, yeah, but I do so go through lifetimes. I'm not sure how we can be so convinced of that. But, you know, if you've had past life recall, you're convinced of it. But if you haven't, I'm not so sure. But say we have, and we're convinced, and we use that as our next yeah, but Nagarjuna, I do go through lifetimes. And then he checks into the analysis of beginnings and endings. That wouldn't be worth doing again. Doesn't something have to end in order for something to begin? But in order for something to end, it has to already have begun. And how can it have begun if it didn't end before? And, you know, where does it all start? I think Nagarjuna would like bang his head against the wall. Would you quit asking that question? Where does it all start? It's like saying, okay, I'm stupid. Okay, my ignorance is showing. Where does it all start, Nagarjuna? Poor Nagarjuna, he's laughing. From chapter 11, we still say, but Nagarjuna, I suffer. You know, you can't say I don't exist because I have suffering. I have pain. Then he goes, all right, well, let's look at this again. Where does that pain come from? What makes pain pain? Who decides what's pain and what's not? Right? Joanna showed us that. What's uncomfortable for one person is heaven for somebody else. Oh, come on. If somebody breaks their arm, it doesn't matter their state of mind. That's painful. But technically, right, you could have a condition where your leg could break and you could not feel it. Right? And if that could happen to one being, then it could happen to any of it. There are people that don't have a leg, but have terrible pain in the foot they don't have. No? Oh yeah, we call it phantom pain. We understand it's something in the brain. No, it's proof. Okay? It's proof that suffering comes from something else. than what we think. Chapter 12, the analysis of pain. Whose pain is it? All right, Janet pointed that out. Whose pain is it? If I can see it, it's my ripening. Do I have to feel it to respond in a way to try to relieve it? Can I relieve anybody else's pain in the moment by doing something worldly? No. If what I do helps them, that's my seeds ripening, their seeds ripening. If what I do doesn't help them, that's our seeds ripening as well. Does trying to help? Yeah, it helps us both, but not till later. So does it help or doesn't it help? It's not help until that help ripens. Right, we're back in the same conundrum, really. If we're thinking self-existently about karma and karmic seeds, we still have it wrong. Hopefully he's going there. Right? We still have, what, 10 chapters? Well, so give me one more minute. He goes from chapter 12, the analysis of pain, to the analysis of things that produce other things. Again, this time addressing more directly deceptive reality. Remember that verse? Any produced thing is deceiving, is deceptive. Wait, forget how it went. Anytime we're misperceiving, every produced thing is deceiving us was the bottom line. Because it's not that we are deceived in witnessing any produced thing, anything producing another thing. We're believing it's happening in the way that we are experiencing it to happen, and we're misperceiving that. We're perceiving it deceptively and not aware that we're perceiving it deceptively. And so we react to it consistent with the deception. And so we perpetuate the deception, and that causes pain. And it causes the perpetuation of the separate me, separate you. And that perpetuates the deception, right? He's trying to point out this vicious cycle that we're so trapped in, we can't even see it. That's only projection. It's no more real than the turning the key to start the car. So it could stop in an instant. All right. So it goes from 13, the analysis of things that produce other things, to chapter 14, an analysis of touching, making contact. So we're just getting more and more specific with each chapter now. Those things that produce other things in our deceptive reality, we're going to say they do stuff. And he goes, well, let's check out where they touch. Again, you must be getting exasperated. So with chapter 14, we'll go into where do things touch, but hopefully in a more subtle way. I have my homework to do to get into that chapter. Are we ready next week? Or do we need more review? We're good for chapter 14, starting next Wednesday. Yeah.
We
All
could
right.
do this over and over and over again.
I know. Me too, me too. Well, I'll do my best to prepare parts of chapter 14 for next week then. Thank you for working hard on staying connected to Arya Nagarjuna in the absence of class. It's really hard. And remember that person that we did this for. Our struggle to understand is a great goodness. It's planting the seeds for everyone in our existence to understand. So please be happy with yourself. Even if there's a part of you going, I just don't get it. What am I doing here? Be happy with the you that's here, that's just sent forth the effort to understand better. Because of the love in your heart, the compassion for the absurdity of pain. And think of all this goodness, like a beautiful glowing gemstone that you can hold in your hands. Recall your own precious holy guide. See how happy they are with you. Feel your gratitude to them, your devotion, reliance upon them. Ask them to please stay close. Continue to inspire you. And then offer them this gemstone of goodness. See them accept it with great pleasure. They bless it and they carry it with them right back into your heart. Feel them there. Their love, their compassion, their wisdom, it's there to guide you. By the power of the goodness that we've just done, may all beings complete the collection of merit and wisdom, and thus gain the two ultimate bodies that merit and wisdom may. So use those 3 long exhales, share that goodness with that one person. See them suddenly so happy. Share it with everyone you've ever seen or known. Oh, everyone you love. And then everyone that you've ever seen or heard of. See them all filled with happiness, filled with wisdom. And may it be so. So thank you, everyone. I will see you next Wednesday, if not sooner. I'm stopping the recording. Stop recording.
Thank you so much.
Stop recording. Yes.